Kitchen?
No.
Because sometimes like that teal and red kind of looks good next to each other. So
They do. It's just the kitchen is next to the living room, and the living room's got this couch that's about this color. And so I don't think teal would go well if the couch looks like this. I'm not sure. I'm ready to get the stuff in there first, and then if we want to do a teal, because yeah, I love the teal and red. So that's why I was kind of excited about that. But then I moved it to the laundry room.
alright.
Anyway.
Dad, did you already give yours?
Not at the present time, no.
So not in the past there either, though, right?
Right.
Okay. What is it?
I got gravel spread at 2 places. And I got a big job done. That's
Yeah? Well, that seems like a
And I
really
spread
good...
gravel like crazy. It was awesome.
Dad, you brought a lot of positivity to Anna.
There you go.
It's awesome. All right, my positive focus this week, last week anyway, was Zermatt, Switzerland. Very pretty. And the Matterhorn, really amazing mountain. Have you guys seen the Matterhorn?
Yeah, you had said it's like in the background of all the pictures.
Recognize that?
Yeah.
Those pictures look like paintings. Like
Oh, they do.
you two like plopped in the middle of them. Like it was ridiculous.
It looks Photoshop.
Yeah.
That's not.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I thought it was neat. The mom said Grandpa Bauer climbed the Matterhorn.
Yeah, that seems really tough. I think he may have visited.
But maybe not climbed it.
Climbing it is a real feat. As you can see, it's not very climbable. I mean, you can,
Oh, go back. That was pretty.
but it's definitely not easy. Like that's some for real.
There's the tracks.
That's some real climbing if you're gonna climb that one. So, yeah, that was he'd probably been there, but I'm not sure. They don't have a whole lot of climbers that climb to the top of it,
Yeah.
except for that guy. I bet the view is pretty good for him. So it was really beautiful. So Zermatt was a really pretty little place. I'll put up a little one of Zermatt. But it's a cool little town. It's kind of this whole town area that like kind of you can hike your way and do like a tram or what they call like a gondola up to the top. And
What's a gondola? Like,
it's basically like an air tram.
like a train?
Yeah, basically like these guys.
That goes up like this, up the hill.
Oh.
Oh no, not like that. Never mind.
Like
That's
that.
That's
Carey.
cool.
Oh.
They don't go all the way up, but you're looking at that kind of stuff the whole time. To where you could go like a couple miles in between, like you could go easily like seemingly about a mile in between like supports. So like the engineering is a feat when you look at like them actually getting that to actually go up to the top. Like it's a real interesting thing to be on.
Wow.
And there you are, you're kind of going over glaciers.
What would have happened if it dropped? Like if it broke?
Well, Caroline,
Then you die.
you might.
You
Probably would. That's just a price you have to pay for beauty, Caroline. See,
Yeah,
but look at that. Look at the views, though, Caroline.
Hmm.
See what I'm saying?
That's a really pretty picture.
I agree with you. It is a really pretty picture.
Caroline's gonna be good at just photoshopping herself in there.
Oh, don't be a baby. All right, that's our positive focus. Which one you want to start with?
Jim Carey.
Yeah. I picked a very short but sweet one for you for him. There's a much longer one. You can see his whole thing if you want.
I watched it with Mom, and she's like, wow, that was really short and straight to the point. You can fail in what you don't love, so take a chance on what you do love. The end.
Do you know anybody that's done that kind of stuff, or can you think of anyone?
That's failed on what they don't love?
Yeah.
His dad.
Other than his dad. Anybody that you can think of that did something they didn't really want to do.
Well, in our family.
Anybody. Doesn't matter. Anybody.
Well, they didn't really fail. They just do something they don't want to do. So that's not the same, though. Like,
Jesus, Dad. We got to get all your supplies in one place before you start moving around.
like I know Aunt Katie's not a big fan of nursing, but that doesn't mean she fails at it, because she does it. She does a good job at it. So...
That's true.
I mean, and, like... I don't even know. I don't know.
Dad, can you think of anybody? Any other examples like that?
Not at all.
Oh boy.
Well, didn't you? Kept taking chances on the one college you wanted to go to for med school? Is that one?
Yeah, that would work. You know? That would work out as well. Let's
I
see
can't
here.
think of one that's like this exactly.
Can you put yourself in that situation, though, on what Jim Carrey's dad did?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Like, if you think that something's like a safe thing to do, and you do it, and you think you're safe with that for like your whole life, and then it fails on you, then you're like, well, I might as well gone for what I would have liked to do, because it would have been like the same risk, or a little more of a risk. I just wouldn't have known the risk in the safe one.
Now, what do you think, Anna?
Can you hear this?
Yep, we can. Yes, we can. It's okay, though. Anna, what do you think?
How about what?
Can you think of any example of someone who failed on... never mind.
Well, actually, just Jim Carrey. What else did you think about Jim Carrey's thing?
I thought it was an excellent point. Like, just... I haven't looked at it like that, and I don't think I do know anybody who's done something they didn't like to do and failed anyway.
Because I tend to think that if you're doing something you don't want to do, when you look back at your life when you're about ready to die, how do you think you consider your life? Like, what was success? What was winning?
Nothing.
Right? I mean, if winning was, providing for your family, and you provided for your family, and you didn't really like what you did, but you provided for your family, then theoretically you won. Like, you did what you wanted to do.
Mhm.
I think you probably have some regret
Yeah.
for never trying
I
what
feel
you
like
really wanted.
I feel like pretty much, not everyone, but most people have regret when they're dying. Like, oh, I could have done this instead of this.
How do you think that you wouldn't have to do that?
I don't know. You may make peace with your regrets before you die.
Don't have regrets.
How would you
Try
do
not
that?
to. Figure out what you want in life and go for that.
Or-
Figure out who you want to be in life and go for that. And then if at some point you're like, I don't want to do that anymore, or boy, that didn't work out to my higher purpose, then you change and you do something different. And you say, well, I did what I could do with what I had then, and that was my focus then, so you can't go back and say, I regretted it because you did it for a purpose back then. So
like your perspective on it.
can you hear it when I do this? Like when Dad does it?
Yeah.
It's these earphones then. Dad can't hear it. I swapped earphones with him. He can't hear it when he does all those little things.
I gotcha. So we just need different earphones for him.
I've got it.
All right, perfect. So Dad, what did you think about that?
The whole thing? The whole thing? Or just what you commented on?
So there was a little bit of an echo. What was that again?
On what you just talked about?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are not doing what they want to do in order to just make a life. You know, they're working where they don't want to work. They're doing a lot of things they don't want to do just because they may feel trapped.
How do you change something that you don't want to do when you can't change it?
That's a very good question.
Ooh! Anna, do you have any insight into that?
Mm-mm.
So Dad, give an example.
Yeah.
Or Caroline.
I can give a good example.
Yep.
I hate school, but I have to do it anyways.
Okay.
I mean, I don't hate it, but I do.
If you didn't want to hate school, how could you not?
Well, I don't want to hate school, because I have to do it, so why should I want to hate it? I don't want to hate it, it's just I don't like it.
Right. If you wanted to like it, how could you?
I don't know.
There's nothing about it?
Take, but I can't take all the classes I want to take because there's requirements.
Okay, do you take any classes that you want to take?
Yeah, I take some, yeah. But then they just get hard, and then I don't want to take them. I mean, not hard, but, I think they're going to be something different than what they actually are. Like AP Physics. Oh my gosh, I loved physics last year. It was fabulous. This year, it's so hard. Oh.
So Caroline, who do you want to be when you grow up?
Me.
Tell me what that looks like.
I don't know.
So you're still creating it, right? You're creating who that's going to look like.
Yeah.
Is that the kind of person that'll have gone through high school?
Well, yeah.
So to become the person that you want to be, you're not 100% sure on everything, but you're absolutely sure that they will be the kind of person who gets done with high school.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, going to high school is a gift because you know that it's getting you closer
I
to
know it
becoming who you
is.
are.
I don't like it. I know it's something I have to do, but I just don't like it.
Now, there's a difference between have to and want to.
Okay, but I know I legitimately have to.
Yeah, but do you want to become you? Or do you
Yeah. No, I
have to
understand.
become you?
No, and I understand what you're saying. I
But-
get it. I just don't. I
That's
just am not a huge fan of school.
no. It's that little bit, though. I think that it's just that. As long as you can visualize the endpoint and what you really want to become, then it doesn't really matter what it takes to get there. You're going to love to get it.
It's so far away.
Doesn't have to
It's
be.
not, though. You're only a couple years away. Your junior, your senior year, and then you're going to be a college girl.
And then you're going to have a
What
lot
if-
more choices.
But this is my problem. If I don't like school right now, the classes are only going to get harder. And I don't like it because it's so hard that I need help on like every single subject, which I know eventually is going to happen because not everyone's perfect at everything. And I know you're going to have to ask for help, so I do. It's going to get harder once I get into college. Like, I know you get to pick what you want to do, major in, but there are still, like, those basic classes you have to take, which are going to be hard. And it's harder if you don't have any interest in them.
So is that kind of like if Caroline, one of her top 5 strengths is not learner, yet in order to be who she wants to be, she has to be a learner?
Everybody has the strengths. It's just which one's strongest in everyone.
Okay.
So, not especially. Like, you'll still like, Caroline, you're very creative. You're a creative soul. If you're creative, like, what's creativity? It's usually like a new thought combining with an older thought in a unique and new way. Therefore, if you're not learning anything new, and if you're not taking any new references, and if you're not getting any new ideas, you can't be creative. It's just not possible.
That's true.
So, like, it's fundamental that you have to learn at some level. You'll still be learning about what you want to. So I see what you mean, Kay. It is a kind of a conundrum on, what you want to kind of learn on the most.
So I think what he means is just that
I appreciate it.
you may have to change the way you look at school. You're just going to have to change the way you look at school because it is something that you're going to need to do to become who you want to be. Therefore, search out the positives and say, I'm excited to do this because now I'll know one more thing I don't want to be when I grow up. Or now I realize that this can work this way, and I don't know that I'll want it. You can choose for that to be part of your creativity or not, or yeah, I think you just may have to search out the positives in it.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I try to do that, like, because, like, okay, I do find positives in, like, everything, and it's a lot easier for me to do that now that we've, like, been doing this, more often. Like, I look for more positive things. But then I was sitting in English class, on Friday, and on Wednesday. And I wrote this down. I wrote, sometimes I sit in class and wonder why I am here and what the purpose of this is, because I feel like all I'm doing is going through the motions. Like, literally in English class, we were just learning about this story, and it was like an interesting story, but it was boring me at the moment. So I was just literally sitting there, and I was like, why am I even learning this? Like, why am I in school? Because literally this is my life. I get up in the morning at 6, I go to school, I go to golf, I come home, do homework until like midnight, go to bed, get up, go to school, go to golf, come home, do homework till like midnight. Like I do the same exact thing every single day. And it's boring. So I think
There's always going to be times in your life where that happens. I remember Dad and I were kind of on a parallel. Dad would work all week, and then on Sunday, he'd do all his office work. And I would go to school all week at college, and then on the weekends be studying or whatever. And we both felt like we were in this vicious cycle where we, I guess, weren't getting anything done. And I don't.
They call it a rat race. They call it a rat race, Kay. And you may have to stay into it for a while, but you have to see the light at the end of the tunnel. You know, and it's just like you were talking a while ago about classes and so forth. I took physics and finite math, and both of them I thought were interesting, but I really thought it was a drudgery taking them. Now looking back, I wish that I had learned and applied more, because those two courses are just fascinating. And I think a lot of courses that you can take may be the same way for you, but you don't see it right now. So the more you can make yourself learn as much as you can, later you may appreciate it more.
I can see that too. I read The Giver in 4th grade, and at that point, I read the book, I went through the motions, I understood it, but it seemed like a whack job book, and I didn't really like it, I guess. And then when I was just graduated college, which was, what, like 10 years later, somebody brought up the book The Giver. And I had to read it again because I couldn't see it. I could remember things, but I was on a different understanding level. And I ended up, the things I remembered propelled me to read it again because I saw it with fresh eyes. And so I think different things grab you at different times, and if you're not exposed to those different things constantly, like school, if you don't take physics, you can't look like Fritz did at the engineering feat that tram is and go, this is cool. You just won't understand it, you won't know, and you won't know that it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Or if there's a problem out there, you can't solve it because you haven't been exposed to enough things to appreciate it. Yeah.
Okay. Can you see my screen? Can you see, which one do you see on my screen right now?
We can see a document, mission.doc.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anna was talking about things that, like, you capture, and, or things that like, you reread maybe a little later on in life. And as you change, these things change. Covey had a quote that says, principles never change. The lens through which you see principles changes. And the lens you put yourself. Okay? Meaning that, like, you change your glasses and you see the world in a different way. Go ahead and put on different glasses and you will see the world in a completely different way. Whether it's like, like cool blue glasses that you get at a truck stop, or, like you get somebody who has Coke bottle glasses because they have the worst eyes on the planet. Okay, like, like you always will see things a little bit differently. This right here is a document that is 28 pages long. this is 28 pages of different quotes that I found to be really, really interesting, that I've collected over at least the last 15 to 20 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll go back and I'll reference and I'll read these. Every time I reference or read them, and I can make it bigger for you so you don't have to squint. But every time I reference these, it is everything changes every time I do it. Like every time I read them, they say something different. Like very simple things, like little things like Alice in Wonderland. Did you see this one?
Yeah.
Wish. Yeah.
Like that's a strangely profound quote. Where shall I begin? Please, Your Majesty, yes. Begin at the beginning. Then go till the end and then stop. Well, that was pretty easy, wasn't it? There's another great one by Alice in Wonderland, like, which way do I go from here? Well, it kind of depends on where you want to end up. Well, I don't much care. Well, it doesn't really much matter which way you go now, does it?
Yeah.
Right? Like, very interesting little type things, okay?
I guess maybe that's one of my other problems is that I stress so much about like one little thing about what's going on. And literally, like in 2 or 3 weeks, it's not even gonna matter. And like I've gotten better at telling myself things. Like it's not gonna even matter tomorrow. But then like I feel like it's gonna matter like forever. Like the moment I'm doing it, when it won't.
Don't worry. You can slow things down, Kay. It can work out. Think about these, like, because like here are a couple that like I was thinking of just as I was hearing you talk. Can you tell me who said this quote? Until one's experienced the deepest valleys, we're never able to fully appreciate the highest mountaintops. Anybody?
In the Bible?
Martin Luther King? Probably from the Bible because he was a pastor.
Mm-hmm.
But Martin Luther King said that, right? So for you, you need contrast. So even maybe while you're sitting in there and you're being completely uninspired while you're in school, do you think that'll make you search and thirst for inspiration later? You're going to be like, listen, I did that, and that sucked, and I'm done with that. That's what Dad's talking about when he says rat race a little bit. You have to experience some pain in order to actually, like, really be able to feel pleasure.
Yeah.
So it's not all that bad.
Like Fritz growing up didn't like to, senior year, he roofed one of the houses. It was a real steep roof, and he hated doing it.
Hated it.
And I remember him saying, I will never get on another roof again. He's not in a position where he's going to have to be on a roof foreseeably. He's made it so where he doesn't have to do that.
Hey, Deej.
I know. We're pretty cool, aren't we? But another one that's along those same lines is Dolly Parton. And KK, you know this one. You have to experience the rain to be able to see a rainbow.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same kind of situation.
And here's another one. This is from Lee Brower's book. Okay? He said that he was going up a mountain and this hiker was old, like a good 10 years older than him, and he just flew right past him. And he asked him when he went by, he said, look, what drives you? And he says, my vision of the future sustains my present agonies. He didn't even feel that he was going up or that he was out of breath, that he was just kind of like in pain. Because it was his vision the whole time.
Of the top.
Hey, DJ. Exactly.
Hey.
So in his mind, he was already there. So it was real kind of cool stuff.
We're looking at a couple quotes.
Yeah, I had a couple quotes up here, DJ. But we watched this little commencement address, well, just a portion of it, really, from Jim Carey. he's become very, very spiritual and very interesting. Like if you just watch some of his other ones, he's become very, very introspective, and strangely very bright.
Yes.
He's a very in touch fellow, really. So more than just being kind of a funny goon, he used that to kind of make his get his family out of pain while they were homeless and living out of a car.
Yeah.
Did you know that, Kay?
Maybe.
Jim
Sort
Carrey's
of.
family lived out of a van for most of his childhood because his dad lost his job. So he started doing impersonations and acting to make everybody smile and kind of have them forget their problems.
Miserable situation.
So he could visualize very clearly, and he kept visualizing that he would be a great actor and stuff like that. And he would do that. He would be a great comedian, you know.
Yeah.
Very interesting stuff. Anyway, let's move on to Simon. Anybody else with anything with Jim?
No, but a little bit on the lines of mission statements, because those were on the quotes you had were on the end of your mission statement, right?
Yes.
Is that why it was mission.doc?
Yep.
Brant and I started a list. She's going to sit here while I do this. Brant and I tonight, I started getting nervous about a few things, Caroline, like we do sometimes, where we worry about what's going to happen and what we're doing right now, and da-da-da-da. So I was worrying, and he has trained himself to be very low stress because he knows that that's an issue in his family, and so he's trying to make himself very low stress, and that's one thing that I like about him, and I need that. And but I was like, I'm concerned about this, and I'm concerned about that. And sometimes, since you don't stress about things, I wonder if you're getting things taken care of. And he absolutely is, but for some reason, I still worry about it. And so we decided that it would make me feel a lot better if we could create our joint mission statement and kind of look forward to and go ahead and write all the things that we needed to do, all the things that we wanted to do, and get them on a timeline, which is something that Fritz and Dad and, well, all of us have done, just working together as a family on these calls as far as, okay, write down all the things you want to do. Now write down, is it a 1-year, 5-year, 10-year goal? And then kind of put things together, and that just really helps me to calm down, because I know that everything's in its place, and I know what I need to focus on and what I don't need to focus on. And then I know that if I've got too much, I know some things can get off my plate, and what happens and doesn't happen has to adhere to your mission statement. And so that's my goal for this week, is for he and I to get a mission statement together and to put all of our things, all of our wants and needs together.
Anna, that's a big 1-week project.
I know, but we're going to start it this week. We got pretty far together on it today, but I want to, and I know it'll change in a month. We'll revisit it and do it again. And then, so I know it is a process, but I want to start that process because it's very helpful. Very helpful for me. So, because I've got my mission statement, and I've got kind of my goals, and then we've got some together, but I want to integrate his because I know he's got them too. So,
that's so great, Anna. God, that's a lot of work.
I know, it's taken Fritz years and years, and you just keep doing more to it.
No, it's not like I remember the first time, it took me a good solid 3 months of getting not a whole heck of a lot else done. 3 months. Lila was so pissed off at me by the end of that for my lack of productivity, getting anything else done. Oh my.
I'm glad I found somebody that I think is well organized enough to be able to intelligently help with that situation.
Oh, it's like Covey. I remember him specifically saying that like when you come up with a mission statement, it's the biggest thing that you'll ever do. So like, don't rush the process. That literally like the strength of the mission statement and like lies at least as much in the creation of it as in what is actually on the page at the end of the day. So like literally like it like it's the process is actually where all the fruit is. Like the discussion of like what's actually important, what's not. Like what are going to be real main things and what things can actually is just all fluff. You know, like just constantly get fluff.
That's hard to distinguish sometimes.
That's why it takes a lot of time. And it takes a lot of times and a lot of revisions. A lot of stuff.
It's a lot like life.
I think you're on mute, Dad. There you go.
I said it's a lot like life because it's not the destination, it's the journey. And all the way through your journey, you have to constantly be looking at it. And it's just like myself, you know, I look at it several times a day. And am I doing the thing that I should be doing at this point in the week the same way? You know, you're constantly changing and upgrading and trying to get the most accomplished. So it's always the trip and not the destination.
Yeah, it just helps that Dad and Fritz and I are working on like a mission statement for the business, and it'll help figure out why we do the things we do and how we're going to move forward and that kind of thing. And I think it'll be the same way with you know, it's the same way with relationships or just with yourself personally. If you want to be this type of person, then you know today I get to do these things and maybe not these things, because these things are more in line with the type of person that I am in my mission. But
what are the steps to making a mission statement? Are there like steps, or do you just be like, oh, light bulb?
Fritz, you're the best at this.
There are a lot of them. There's a lot of guided kind of. There's people who have kind of put together kind of the easiest, most succinct ways to do a mission statement. The one I like the best is out of 7 Habits by Stephen Covey. He has kind of in there like mission statement and kind of how to put it together and kind of like. I like his way the best. I went to a Tony Robbins seminar and they did a really good job on kind of putting together kind of what they call like a poster, which is your mission statement along with like things that are really important to you and then kind of the things you want to kind of avoid and then your big goals. So I thought that was really good too.
Where did you find that?
One was out of the 7 Habits, and that's a Stephen Covey book.
Did he just like write it in there? Or was that like at the end or something?
It's well, mission statement's habit 2.
Okay.
It's all part of habit 2. You remember what habit 2 is? Anybody?
No.
Begin with the end in mind.
That's your mission. What's the end point? What's our mission? And then putting first things first is habit 3. So it's habit 2. Habit 2's a tough one.
You have the 7 Habits on audio book, right?
I do. They're in the Dropbox. I think
that might be a good goal for me this week.
You can
do what? Listen to that book on.
Yeah, because I haven't read it or listened to it. So.
I tell you what, Kay, if you're willing, I'll find the 1 hour, because the audiobook for the whole thing I think it's probably around 7 hours. So it's a long audiobook. It's definitely good, but it's a long audiobook. And that one's a really good one to actually sit down and read. Because that'll, if you really digest it, it takes some time to get through.
And then you can outline it
It's
and
a
make
real
notes
thinker.
in the margins.
Oh, yeah.
And,
That's a tough one.
yeah. I know a girl in college.
Okay.
They did their entire year course on that book.
Boy, I'd
That's
like to
so
do that
cool.
course.
I would have loved to do that course. I took her notes
I
at
would
the end
have.
of it.
That would have been very interesting because, like, that's not a course for us. Even like you think, oh my God, they spent all that time on this book. That's a course for a life. That's not a course for like even a year. But like, even me, like going through it, probably read it 4 or 5, 6 times now. It's still not all sunk in, and the 8th habit just takes it to a whole next level. So like.
I'm
That
not
book,
gotten there.
I can get lost in that for a month at a time. Every time I open it, I know that I'm going down a rabbit hole for at least a month. So, like, you can get lost down in there.
Okay.
So, okay, I have what I'm trying to say is I have a 1 hour, like, kind of best of
The 7
the
habits.
7 habits. Would we like to do that actually for next week as opposed to an audio or YouTube?
That worked for me.
It's 1 hour. I can send it
Sounds
over.
awesome.
I can send it over like as a link to the audiobook Dropbox, and everybody can download it and listen to it.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
Sounds great.
if there was one book that I was to start either listening to for an audiobook or reading that's not the 7 habits, what would it be?
What do you want to learn about?
I don't know. What do you think I should learn about?
7 habits.
So I should get the 7 habits book along with it.
What do you think, Dad?
Because I'm at like a standstill right now with books. Like, I have books I could read and stuff. We're not reading anything like in depth in class right now, so I could find a book now. So that's why I was just wondering.
I agree all the way that is probably one of the greatest books that I've encountered.
And I think it can relate to every age. Like, I don't think that Caroline would have any troubles reading it and relating to it. And I think it's helpful to everyone. I mean, he's done 7 habits, 7 habits for families, 7 habits for business, 7 habits for... They're all the same 7 habits. He just alters them to the different situations.
So maybe I should get the 7 habits for teens. Isn't there one like that?
There is.
I'm sure.
I think I started reading it once and I didn't finish it. So it's like the same thing as the 7 habits. It's just geared towards my age.
Yes,
Right.
it is.
They're the same exact habits, just geared differently.
Okay.
Yep.
Let me see. Let's see here, because I bet 7 Habits for Highly Effective Teens. Now, it's not written by Steven.
Yeah,
It's
by,
written
like,
by his
his son.
son, Sean. Which I'm sure that, like, obviously Sean probably has a really good kind of, handle on that. Yeah, it looks like it has a workbook and, and the actual book, obviously.
There's
All
a
of it?
workbook?
Yeah, it has a workbook as well. So the workbook may come with it. It's hard to say. But there you are. There it is, right there. Let me
Did
see
you
if I
just
have it
order
in
it
here.
on...
You can order it. I didn't order it right this second. So 7. Let's see what I have in here so far. 7 Habits for Managers, Effective Families. The Power of the 7 Habits is, I believe, the audiobook that I want to give you, but I'll check it just to be absolutely sure.
Okay.
But here, so you want to know books? Let's go. Let's do it real quick.
I'm sorry, are you guys okay with looking at this stuff? I don't mean like
Yeah, absolutely.
This is
This is all in
This is important.
part of our growth. Yeah.
So
Because I was just thinking, because like I love reading fiction books, they're just not really getting me anywhere, and I feel like I need something that's going to get me somewhere now. So, like, I still love reading them. I just feel like right now is the time for one of these books. So that's why I was wondering.
Okay, I tell you what I'm going to do, I'll send you this, and I want you
Okay.
can just take like I wrote kind of the 10 books that have most changed my life, and then you can see by the description which one kind of fits your
Sticks
trigger.
out.
Which one you think
Yeah.
like is the most cool one that you might want to read about?
Did you write these summaries?
I wrote this, yeah.
Little- Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so I wrote this for you.
Okay.
So it's a post on a place you might know about.
Is there one that? Is
Called
there one that?
the Disque Foundation. You've heard about this website?
I think maybe a couple times.
It's one that you're going to be redesigning soon. So
Hey, I've completed my goal. I watched that video. It was so cool. It was like perfect.
see, I wrote this last year, almost this time for you. So there you go, Kay.
Is there one book that's better than the other? That's like about taking a step back
A step
on everything.
back.
Like taking a step back and like letting go of all the stress and just looking kind of like at the big picture as a whole and like seeing how, like stuff like that, or not really.
Tell me more.
7 Habits.
Tell me more.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Tell me more about what you mean. What are you thinking about?
Well, is there one that like helps you de-stress and focus on and stop focusing on like all the little bitty details and
Don't Sweat the Small Stuff is a very good book for that.
yeah, like that one. Sounds
Yeah.
good.
It's called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, and I have it in here too.
Okay.
It should be. Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. There's that audiobook. I can share this link with Caroline. Okay. I guess I haven't shared anything with you there.
Is it in your Dropbox? Because I think
It's in
the
my
audiobook
Dropbox.
one.
Yeah.
Because I think I have that on my. I think I'm logged into that one on my phone.
Well, this one now you'll have it directly because I just shared it with you. But Don't Sweat the Small Stuff is a good one. Okay. That's a good. I mean, it's talking about just exactly what you're talking about. It's like figuring out whether stuff is big stuff or small stuff, and then the stuff that's small, you don't get upset about that stuff anymore. Like let it go.
Is the one How Children Succeed? Is that a good one, or is that one for like parents?
It's a good question. I'm not sure. I don't think I've read that one yet.
Okay.
Great Curiosity and the Power of Character. Boy, it sure sounds good, but I don't know. I have not read that book.
Okay.
I think somebody else. That was uploaded by a friend of mine, Daniel.
Okay.
I can see if he likes it. He has 3 kids, so he probably is reading it for that purpose.
Yeah.
But just read through these, and if any of them kind of flip your trigger, like this one, A Whole New Mind, I just finished it 2 days ago, rereading it again. Super important book, and we've already gone through that one a little bit.
Is it possible to be like 45% left brain and 55% right brain?
Yeah.
Like almost equal?
Yeah, sure. That's a whole new mind.
Because I feel like... Oh. Well, because I feel like... like I'm right-brained, but I'm not... Like, and I like doing, that's, like, right-brain stuff a lot better than, like,
Yeah.
Other stuff. And, like, you know how math and sciences are more left-brain, and then English and history are more right-brain?
Yeah, of course.
I'm not a big fan of English Like, I really hate grammar. I'm not a big fan of English. I'm not a big fan of history unless it's like stuff that I learn on my own that actually interests me. And I'm not a big fan of math, but I like physics, which is a science. Like, I like some sciencey things. So I don't know. I feel like I'm just both. I'm just in the middle. It's weird because like I'm good at all of them. Like I get good grades in all of them.
Now, Kay,
I don't even know.
think about this.
I'm just so messed up.
Oh dear. Kay, do you remember like when we actually listened to a few YouTubes with Daniel Pink? It was about a year ago. A little
What
over
were
a
they
year
about?
ago. A Hole in Mine.
Oh, probably. I don't know what were they.
It was him
talking
talking to Oprah about his books. We listened to them a
Oh.
little over a year ago. It was a while ago.
Maybe.
And he talked about the right brain and the left brain and then how they all kind of work together and stuff like that.
Vaguely, I remember it.
The interesting thing is, Kay, whenever you revisit this stuff, we've talked about a lot of really good stuff. When you revisit it later, just like Anna was saying, you're a different person. You're going to pick up different things. So it's almost that you can go back and read and like watch one of those again. And it's almost as though you'd never even watched it before because you're looking at it with completely different eyes. When I last read this book, it was almost 2 years ago or so. And I picked up completely different things this time when I listened to it.
Okay.
But really great books are like that. Where you know that they're really, they have multiple layers. And you realize that you don't try to pick out everything the first time. You just grab what you can.
Yeah, and sometimes books like that, like, I get in the mood where I just want to read them, and then sometimes they're so hard for me to get through them.
Possible.
So, I mean, and I know it's good for me to read those, so I'm going to try to start doing that a little more at least.
Yeah. Well, good. I tell you what, I'll send over the hour-long one. That's a really good one that that I really enjoy. It's an hour-long one that, like, it's succinct. The 7 habits, they fit all together very easily in a 1-hour presentation.
What's the 8th habit?
Ooh. That's a big one. So it takes it to an entirely new level. Like, it's from effectiveness into greatness and fulfillment and contribution and purpose.
So it's like taking everything that you learned from the 7th habits and putting it into everyone else's lives, like in the 8th habit.
Exactly. So it's about like finding your voice and then being able to inspire other people to find their voice.
So is it possible to start with the 8th habit and move backwards through the 7th habits? Or
Nah.
do you have to start and get a base with the 7 habits and then go to the
8th habit won't make much sense to you until you have a good command over the 7.
Okay.
You have to know the 7. The 7 is just to make your life really effective. Those are the 7 habits of highly effective people. People who effectively get what they want all the time. They have a good, effective, purposeful life. Now,
So like the 7th habits are making an effect on you, and then the 8th habits making an effect on everyone else.
in a sense.
But then don't you like with the 7th habits? Isn't that teaching you how to be more effective on yourself? So then you are more effective with other people.
Yes. Yeah. The 8th habit just kind of steps it up a lot. I mean, it really talks about like now that you have kind of mastered the 7 habits, now it's up to you to go and actually teach it to everyone else and to try to really live it.
Okay.
And how you can really inspire other people. And how like you can find like you can help people find their voice.
I don't know if you guys ever think about this, but I think about this, like, you know, like when you're thinking about reading like all these books and like doing all these, you know, self-fulfilling and like growth things, and you think about how many other people read these books and do this, you would think that everyone else is doing this, but it's crazy how many people there are out in the world, you know, that read all this stuff and, you know, even just do stuff with this stuff that you don't even know about. It's just, I don't know, I just think about it a lot, and it's crazy. That might have sounded completely stupid because you guys may have no idea what I'm talking about, but
Now tell me more. You mean that a lot of people use it, or a lot of people don't use
Well,
it?
I feel like a lot of people do hear about these books, and maybe 50% of the people who hear about these books read the books, and then maybe 50% of the people who read the books do stuff with the books. And I feel like I know that's like a small percentage of like all of people and humanity, right? It has to be like a small percentage of everyone. I feel like it'd be so large because of all of the businesses and all of the foundations that are like everywhere, It's just, I don't know, it's just crazy. I can't explain it. Never mind. It's weird.
Okay, think about it. It'll make it so much easier for you to find your tribes.
Yeah, but I feel like there's so many people who do this though, but yet it's so little about the so many people on Earth. It just makes me. I guess it's more of a thing where I just don't even understand how many people are living on the Earth because it's so crazy.
Right.
Like, it's just absolutely ridiculous. Because I know so many people do things with these books, and so many people read these books and do stuff with it. But then it seems like such a small portion of people do. It's just, I can't comprehend it. I just thought I'd throw that out there.
I love it.
It's okay. Tell me, we want to talk a little bit about Simon? Did you get anything out of Simon's stuff today?
Yeah, I liked a lot of his things, but some of his things kind of confused me. I guess like I perceived them differently or didn't agree on what he was talking about or something through some of the things. Like, I don't know. I'll just go through it as, it comes.
Yeah.
But at the beginning, when he talked about the bagels and getting the free bagels, like, I understand, like, how some people see it one way than the other one. Like, I get that. That makes sense. But I also think that the way you perceive the world is the way you perceive those two different people. So I think, like, his friend might not have seen it as a person who sees what prevents them versus a person who sees the things they want. He could have seen it in a different light, like, there's a more effective way for me to spend my time than waiting in line to get bagels. Like, I'd rather do this, and it's more effective for me to do this or something. So I think it's just kind of different on how they perceive, what they're doing.
Dad, what do you think? Dad, are you
She's
there?
right.
Oh.
Yes, I'm here. It's